This one house brought me in over $5,000 in my very first month on Airbnb, but I'm still not the biggest fan of Airbnb. I actually prefer other investing methods. But in this video, I'm going to tell you all about my experience with Airbnb my first month, what to do, what not to do. I'll talk about the cost, exactly how much I made, the total net profit, and I'll also give any advice and things that I would tell you guys if you are interested in doing Airbnb yourself. My name is Chris A. Williams, owner, investor, and entrepreneur. And because I know you all watched my previous video, and if you haven't yet, go watch that, where I was talking all about my experience with the Airbnb, everything I did in the property. You guys know that I spent a pretty penny in getting this property ready to be listed as a short-term rental for Airbnb. And honestly, man, my experiences, I'm not the biggest fan of it. It's a lot hands-on for me, even though I try to take a hands-off approach. Like, I put a property manager in place, but there's still so many things that go on versus like my other properties. I have those a lot of times on the wrap strategy, and if you guys aren't aware of what the wrap strategy is, watch that video also. So I'm very hands-off with those ones. Like, I don't even really think about the properties at all. But for this one, this Airbnb, I'm like having to communicate with my property manager almost every single day, to the point where I'm like, okay, like, am I the property manager? Oh, you know, what's going on? And it's just so many different things that go on. Like, the guests, they may want certain things, like, oh, they want a new coffee maker. They may spill bleach on the floor. They may mess up the sheets. I'm like, okay, I have to go to Amazon. Like, I'm Amazon's loyalist customer right now. I'm buying something every single day from Amazon to furnish and to get everything straight with this Airbnb as much as possible. So those are things I was dealing with. On the negative side, I had a guest who like broke into our supply closet. I don't know what they did. They like jimmied a credit card into the supply closet. They like took a bunch of supplies out and they took our sheets. Looks like they wiped off their with that. It's like yellow stuff and brown stuff all on the sheets, and we're like, yo, what is this? Like, what were y'all doing? Some people are saying makeup, but it's some yellow stuff, so I'm like, I don't know, yellow makeup, I don't know that shade of foundation. So just weird stuff like that. I've noticed that people just don't care. I'm like, dang, is this what hotels have to go through? Like, people just do not care. People will just mess it up because they're like, oh, this is my house, like, who cares? Who raised you? But I think the difference between hotels and my Airbnb is hotels, I think they got like an unlimited supply of white sheets.
That's not true.
I try to give my guests more a luxury approach, so I get some more premiums, more luxury sheets. So every time I have to buy sheets, costs a lot. So that's maybe something that I may have to change in my approach. Like, all right, instead of getting the more luxury sheets, just get the cheap sheets or get the cheap linens, because people just don't care anyways. We have had some very satisfied guests. Let's say got some nice 5-star reviews. We've been booked pretty consistently. So why did you do Airbnb in the first place, Chris? Okay, I did it because one, I wanted to diversify my portfolio a bit, wanted to try some new things. Also, the numbers just didn't make sense to do a wrap or to do a traditional rental. If you want some more insight on that, watch my previous videos on it, because I went into deep detail on the numbers and everything specifically for that specific property. But yeah, I mean, I just wanted to try something different, and it worked, or I thought it would work for this particular property. And stay tuned to this video, because later on I'm going to get into all the numbers, details, give you guys the exact truth and everything, just so you know. Advice that I would give to anybody who's looking to do Airbnb, one of the very first things I would recommend is get comfortable mattresses and get plenty of beds. Beds are one of the most important things for Airbnbs. It doesn't necessarily matter. Bedrooms, yes, but also you can convert some spaces into more money for you by having beds. So for example, like what I did was I took like a secondary living room. I also took like a kind of like garages space, and I put pull-out couches there, and those count for beds. So there's even more money that I can get, because if a property on Airbnb, let's say it has 4 beds versus it has 7 beds, the one that has 7 beds is going to get more money than the one that has 4 beds. So that's something to keep track of. Also, like I said, comfortable mattresses. You gotta think this is what people are sleeping on, so they don't want to be sleeping on a rock. If they're sleeping on something hard and uncomfortable, they're probably going to give you a bad review. Good reviews are the name of the game when it comes to Airbnb. Especially when you're newer, you have bad reviews that can really mess you up. Like, think if you have 2 reviews and both of them are 2 stars, like, no one's gonna want to book your place. Think about all the times you go on Amazon yourself and you shop. You're gonna go to the one that has the most reviews. Even if they're not all 5-star, you want to see 10,000 reviews versus just 2 reviews. So I say that to say, when you're doing your Airbnb, give these people a reason to give you a 5-star review, whether that's putting luxury things, whether that's putting, nice aesthetic things, providing great customer service to the guests. Do all these things to make sure that you can get those 5-star reviews, because the more reviews you get, the more bookings you have, the more money that you'll make. Okay, all right. So PSA, so we did some research and it looks like a lot of people that are watching, you're not subscribed to the channel. So please do me a favor, because I'm giving you guys these free videos, free high-level information on real estate and real estate investing. Please, just for me. All you gotta do is click the subscribe button, just subscribe to the channel. Oh, also, just bonus, just share it with a friend who can find this helpful. Thank you. So the moment you all have been waiting for and why you stuck around so long for this video, let's get into the numbers with this property. So 30 days in a month, right? We had a total of 7 bookings, but they all weren't just for one night. We had some one-night ones, we had some 2-night, some 3-night ones, so on and so on. So out of 30 days, we were booked 18 days out of the 30, which I think is pretty fair. I obviously would want it to be more. I would love a fully booked out month, but obviously that's not all doable. So we were booked out for half of the month, which I think is pretty good. So being that we were booked there, let's look at how much that actually made. So this property, I received in my bank account $5,098.32. Now that was the total gross, but that is not the net. To figure out the net, I have to subtract what I paid, my costs associated with running the Airbnb. And that includes my property manager for the property. That also includes any cleaners. That also includes any damage costs, things like that. So I paid my property manager $819.51. I paid the cleaners $1,100 for their cleans, because they're coming in to clean after each booking. So that's one thing you guys may want to factor in. Also, if you're having consistent turnover, like, so say for example, if your property is, let's say you are renting it out for $200 a night, but you have to pay your cleaners $200 each time they clean, it probably doesn't make much sense to have it at $200 a night. You need to either get more a night, or you need to pay the cleaners less, because you're going to lose money at that point for just one night. So it is imperative that you get, people to stay multiple nights. That's why we'll do things like offering a discount the longer that they stay, because we got to pay the cleaners the same regardless. So pay my cleaner $1,100, like I said. And then as far as damage fees, that was a total of $250. Like I mentioned, the issue like the bleach and paying the contractors and things like that to fix it, total of $250. After paying my property manager and paying my cleaners, instead of walking away with $5,098.32, now I'm walking away with $3,078.81. This still isn't my net though, because I have to factor in my mortgage. So I'm going to subtract my mortgage for the property is $2,333.24. So now when we subtract that out, this is my true net from the property, and that puts my true net at $495.57. So from this property, my true net was $500, which isn't anything to write home about. It's okay. I'm like, it's not bad. 500 extra, I can do a little something with that. But honestly, for me, it's not worth the stress of it, just for $500 extra. Other people, they may think different, but for me, it's not really worth it. So I think next month and the months moving forward, we're gonna have to increase our price, or we're gonna have to get more bookings, or the cleaner's gonna have to come down. We're gonna have to do something, because for me to take on all the stress and have to be Amazon's best merchant every single day just for $500 a month is, not really looking forward to that. But that's just me. That's my personal opinion. Let me know what you would do, like what you would do to make more money, or if you would still continue to run an Airbnb if you were making $500 per month. I think if I was doing like multiple ones of these, I would be possibly fine with $500 a month. But in a sense, I would try to replace myself where I'm less stressed about it and not having to deal with all these things. So that's my experience with Airbnb, and not to sound like a negative Nancy or anything like that, but this is my first time doing it. So I just wanted to give you guys my honest experience. I've walked you through the whole entire process before I even purchased it, to me actually purchasing it and going through it, renovating it, all of it. And now you see the end process after my first month. So I'm still going to keep this property in the portfolio. We're still going to keep on making money from it, but I don't know if I'll buy another one. We'll see. But I am going to buy some more properties, whether they're wraps, whether they're traditional rentals, whether they're flips, wholesales, anything like that. So if you are interested in learning more about real estate or real estate investing, make sure you subscribe to the channel and watch the next video.